Welcome, my lovely learning designers. This is Anna Sabramowicz, and today I bring to you another amazing interactive story. So this one is actually crafted by one of my students, John Trupiano, but do not be fooled. I learned a lot through this experience as well, and hopefully by walking through these together, you will also learn some of the basic mechanics and the strategies and the frameworks that are behind these experiences so you can start crafting your own. So one of the things I want to focus on here is the story elements. How are they working so you can start seeing those patterns? The other piece we're going to look at is the mechanics that are used underneath this experience, and of course, the visual treatment, the user experience, all those things. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this interactive story was crafted by John Trupiano, and he used, as you can see, custom illustrations for his client, who was a financial investor, or sorry, a financial consultant. And let's see, so a bit of a splash page, bit of intrigue, millennial investment story, play now, or you can do it about, and it's got this awesome, takes about 10 minutes to play, which is, again, a part of that courtesy for this person saying, you're going to invest 10 minutes here, so if you don't have that time, and also one of the things it also does is it alleviates anxiety where you're like, how long is this going to be? Is this a 45-minute thing? No, right? So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to click the about. So Kaylee is trying to make the system work for her and not against her. But how does she know who to trust with life's important decisions? In this story, you will make choices and experience the consequences with Kaylee as she works to sort out her financial life. Will she make it through to peace of mind, or is she destined for squalor? You decide. So this is awesome. And also, this is a portfolio piece for John. So he has this awesome link here where you can just get in touch with him right away if you want to have him make one for you. So that's awesome. So look at this. You decide. A little bit of that. He's not giving anything away, but he is telling you that you're going to be a part of the story and you're going to make the decisions. All right, play now. Nice and big and juicy. Boom. And there's some sound effects there. This story will adapt to the choices you make. All investment strategies involve risk of loss. Nothing presented here should be construed as investment advice. Of course, they need that disclaimer. So what I love here is the simple language, and what you notice is that the language is changing, the statements are changing, but the image stays the same. And so, because you're not trying to move too many things at the same time, you are actually just letting somebody think this through and absorb the scene. And I love that because you can be that simple. You don't have to overdo it with animations and changing the images too much because the scene conveys a lot. So I like that style, and I like also this kind of swooshy, whatever the illustrator did. It's pretty cool. My insurance bill reminder. I guess I won't be saving this month. Not a happy look. At least my job enrolled me in that investment account. I should check in on that. So right now what we're doing, I guess, is just getting to know this Kaylee character. And obviously the one thing we know about her is that she's moved out, she's by herself, she's young, and she's got some financial issues. She's got some bills. Oh, she's checking in. Woo! Oh, this is the thing that she's been counting on. Her, at least her investment account through her work was working up until now. I got to get my finances in order so I can stop stressing about money. And this is like, when you think about stories, they're very simple. You can look out there and you can say, oh, Anna, there's like so many different elements, and there's a lot of people out there who make storytelling very complex. But storytelling is very, very easy. And if you have these three elements, you can build on that. So I want you to think of that stories are just three things. A character who wants something and something's getting in the way. So what does she want? She wants to stop stressing about money. And what is getting in the way? Well, she doesn't know how to get her finances in order. So there we go. This is a story. It has a beginning, middle, and end. And I didn't come up with this. These are the pros in Hollywood, and also the pros at Pixar. This is how they think about stories as well. So when you're looking at implementing story, make sure they have these elements, and then don't overcomplicate it. Make sure these elements are there first before you get into adding all kinds of, complexity. But what we did is we learned a little bit about Kaylee. Now she's had this, what we call an inciting incident, which is, man, this is like, I thought I had this like security blanket, which has completely evaporated. Okay, what can I do now to fix the situation? Later that week at work, she meets with the 401k manager. All right. I hope this goes well. Yeah, me too. I need a better investment plan. Kaylee, I'm so impressed you booked this meeting. Most people your age aren't interested in their 401k plans. Yeah, I'm a little concerned about my financial situation and... Gotcha. Don't worry. I looked over your account. Here's what we need to do. And you notice that also I'm able to control the pace here by... It's how, like, everything appears as I decide that it appears, and that's really huge for giving people that autonomy. It's kind of the same as, think about in a comic book. If you're flipping through the pages, or book, period, you are controlling the pace. If you need to read something or a little bit slower, then you get to do that, and that's what I like here as well. We need to max out your contribution limit. Oh, I got all the forms. I just need you to sign right here. Oh, this is great. You'll be all set for a great retirement. So nice, punchy language. And look at this. This doesn't change. It just sits there teasing me, tempting me. I could just make it this easy. Ooh, so here we've got the choice screen. John's added this timer, so there's some urgency. I'm going to choose this one. Many years later. Oh, I love it. There's some sound effects here that he added for just a little bit of effect. I love it. But here it is. Now I'm old and I will just have to keep working till I die. So we see the consequence right away. And that's a part of John's mechanic that he uses throughout. Remember, when you look at some of these, the best interactive experiences, the details as far as how you make those decisions and how they work stay the same, because that consistency creates this kind of, I guess, a feeling that people know exactly what is expected of them, and then they can get lost in the story and focus on the decisions instead of having to focus on what's the next thing that's going to pop up and I'm going to have to figure out how it works. So we're really training them. This is how it works, and now we just want you to think about what the story is asking you to do. All right. So they didn't tell me what was in the fine print. Huge fees. Try again. So what happens is John is using the rewind mechanic. Basically what he's doing is he's making me move forward through the story. I get to see the consequences of my poor actions, but he wants to drive the action in a certain way. So I get to see what happens when I make poor decisions, but we're going to bring me back to the decision screen again. That one is no longer selectable. There's the timer. I'm going to do wait and research a strategy that fits your needs. Oh, and I got one of those little boop, boop, positives. Okay. He didn't even try to listen. I'll research my own strategy. I can do better. Awesome. Later on that week, time to get this figured out. She's on Fugle. How hard can it be? Wow, there are a lot of different opinions out there. If my calculations are correct, Acme stock is a strong buy. Of course, Acme stock would be a strong buy. Okay, everything looks in order. There's that giant green button. What should I do? All I have to do now is click this button and it's done. Isn't that fun? What should you do? And I like this image here kind of like as a reference. Be sure, wait and take a class. Looks good. I'm going to ask a trusted family member. Oh no, why did I ever listen to Cousin Eddie? Uh-oh, breaking news. Acme files for bankruptcy. I had all my savings in there. I'm never going to financially recover from this. Oh boy. Ouch. Now, these scenarios are based on two things. So John actually talked to his stakeholder because he wanted to base the scenarios on situations or decisions that most people mess up on when they're just getting started with investing, or what they think is going to be the best option for them. So that's what this is compiled on. But those other, when you get to the choice screen, you're going to have more than just the right thing to choose. You're going to have all these other decisions, choices that people would make because they assume there's a better way to handle this, like asking a family member, right? So what John also did is he actually talked to people who had been through this experience and then compiled all the different their different ways of how they would have handled the situation because of the mistakes that they had made in their own lives. So that's pretty cool. So this is not this is a compilation of different people's experiences and advice that he's turned into like a real scenario experience, which is fun. All right. Now I got to tell you, when I first saw these images, I was like, yeah, I don't know if I like them. It's not my style. But then when I see this all come together, this becomes like each portfolio piece, really, and any piece that you craft, it becomes your own thing. Of course, you have to test it with your target audience, but I enjoyed this, and this worked out really well. I think it has this really cool look and feel that's their own. So I'm going to say, ooh, be sure and take a class on it. A few weeks later, well, I learned loads on investment, but it doesn't relate to my situation. I feel like I'm getting nowhere with this investment plan. 1 year later, I hate this virus. I can't believe Dad's gone. I miss him so much. Thanks for the inheritance, Dad. But I'd give it all back for even one more day with you. Later on. Fun transition screens. Hi, it's Kaylee. Are you still showing houses? I'm thinking about moving now that I have enough for a down payment. Ooh, she's spending that inheritance money. Yes, of course. What did you have in mind? Well, I'm just starting to look. Maybe you can give me some ideas. I'm glad you called. I know of some great deals. Of course a realtor would know that. But you'll have to act fast. Of course. So, meet with real estate agent. Find that there's a consistency here. 3 options always. And that keep the money safe. Leave it in your bank account. That's what I do, yeah. A couple years later. Declined. That's impossible. I've already blown through my inheritance money. How did I let this happen? Super common, right? Just kind of dwindle it away. So I see this is fun because I get to see the consequences, but the story still drives me forward because one of the things the financial investment guide obviously wanted you to do is to actually experience all of the situations so that you'd get to see the consequences for all the different things that were happening. So this is pretty cool. John did that. And I like how it grays out. I think that's pretty cool. Try again. All right, so that one's obviously not clickable anymore. I'm going to do, I don't want to choose all the options because you guys are going to go through this on your own, right? And choose different things to see what happens. Higher returns would be better. My money might work harder in stocks. My mentor at work recommended her investment advisor a while ago. Ooh. Let's see. Later on at coffee with friends. I'll run the idea past my girlfriends. Going with an investment advisor could really help. There's a lot of opportunity out there. But you don't know what you don't know. You have to be careful. There's a lot of so-called experts out there. Yeah, but getting professional strategy help could really pay off. I would never trust a stranger with my money. Anyway, it sounds expensive. An investment advisor will be too expensive. Don't trust a stranger with your money. Reach out to an investment advisor for a meeting. I'm just going to go straight to this one. Boom. And what a relief. I feel like my needs and goals have finally been heard. I know what I have to do now. writer. Oh, you guys are going to get. The returns keep coming, even in the middle of all these crazy times. So glad I consulted on my investment strategy. Peace of mind, finally. And in due course. This is that aftermath that we were talking about. We just picked up the keys today. Can't wait to paint the nursery. Epilogue. All right, so now we get to the part where we get even more value. So as you saw, one of the things that happened is we would go through the situations, and yes, it was a rewind mechanic, so it kind of forced us to eventually make the right decision so that we could move on to the next scenario and wouldn't miss any of them. And this is a strategy used in many other interactive stories that I've shown you and will continue to show you, because sometimes what happens is you want to keep the narrative going and you want to expose people to a sequence of events, especially if you're trying to share with them a process, or if you or if basically the journey of the character is better if experienced, if all those things are experienced. And that's one strategy. I don't want to be a purist here. There is many different ways to organize these kinds of experiences. There's ways for you to make them more branching, less branching. It depends on your goal, depends on your strategy, depends on your audience, depends on all kinds of things. How much time they have, how much time you have, development, all kinds of things. There's lots of factors coming in. So there isn't a one-size-fits-all, always do this one thing. It's whatever works for your specific audience and the goal that you're trying to achieve. So for John, it was, I want them to, when he was working with his client, he's like, most people, when they're starting with investing, they make these like 4 major mistakes. And so we want them to experience all of those mistakes, but also experience the consequences, right, of making a poor decision. So that initially is a really solid way to have somebody get the lesson, right? They're basically seeing what happens as a result and getting Kaylee's kind of inner dialogue about how she feels about these things, which is awesome. Now, what John has done is he's kind of created this follow-up where he'll say, your first choice, and this is kind of like the reference image, your first choice was increasing your contributions now will pay off. So he went to, he referenced what their first choice was on those choice screens. What did I pick first? And he says, it's true, the longer you have your money invested, the more you'll be able to take higher returns due to compound interest. However, it would have been better to give more thought to the financial vehicles that are driving your investments. Too often, brokers and investment bankers take hidden fees and have undisclosed conflicts of interest. You can avoid this by taking more ownership of your financial plan. So what he's doing here is he's giving them advice based on the option that they thought would be best in that moment, which is fantastic because you're getting more value and more advice about how to manage this. So one of the things that John's doing here, and this financial advisor who's sending this to his clients, is they're learning, even if nobody ever works with this guy, they will actually get a ton of value and good advice just from going through this experience. So take more ownership of your financial plans. Huge, right? And so what will happen is every time I made a decision, John tracked that on the back end and gave me feedback based on my decision. So I'll let you read that on your own time. But I love those reference images so that you can kind of get, basically what I'm doing is I'm going back to my decision again and thinking through it again. And I love the nice and focused feedback that I'm getting based on each decision here, which we call this the modular epilogue. All right. Fabulous. Like I said, I didn't like the images in the beginning, but now that they've all come together, it's actually a really fun, fresh experience. And I think people will really like it because it stands out. It's a little bit different. There we go. So we've got, click here to play again, which is fantastic. Closing screen. And there we go. Investment portfolio to the next level. Perfect, right? It's like, it basically says, hey, here's the next step. And it makes it really easy to make that happen by having this. And this could be, I want you to think about this. This could be for taking the next step, like a course, downloading a job aid, because now you're like, aware that there's some gaps that you have, or maybe you made some decisions that you didn't think were going to work out this way. So that's what is fun about this. Now, if you enjoy this, what I'll do is I'll put the link to it underneath the video, so you can also check it out and play through it and enjoy it. If you have any questions about how this was designed, developed, let me know in the comments. If you have any questions about crafting your own or how this would apply to your context, absolutely let me know in the comments, because I'd love to hear about it so I can answer your questions, because obviously this is what we do every single day, is craft these narrative-driven interactive experiences. And one of the things that most people ask is, hey, would this apply for my work? Would this apply for my context? Or I'm having some trouble visualizing this. I'd love to be able to help you. If you want more information on how to craft these kinds of experiences, more on the framework of how storytelling is done, how to get people to actually tell you the right stories, well, what I want you to do then is go to scenariosecrets.com/class, and you'll be able to experience a free training there. And if it makes sense, then schedule a session with me so that we can talk about your project. All right, so I hope you have a fabulous rest of the day. I hope this was helpful. And I'll see you again in the next video. Bye.